Okay, we'll come back to Mike Merritt. Mike Carmen.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Mike.
When's the last time you called plays in a game? Was that the bowl game at Western?
What was the last part of that?
Was that the bowl game at Western?
I actually did not call it there.
Okay.
Brian called it. So really, I really have not called a game as a coach, but as a player and as a quarterback, you're always thinking of the plays you would call. And I've been in situations, mostly in practice, as a player where coaches would let us call it. So that's really probably the last time I've called the game. We've done some things since we've been here to kind of get us prepared. We do young guys after practice or bowl practice. A lot of times I would get to call that as well as Coach Shepard. So we would try to mix that in to give us some experience just for our future, never knowing something like this might happen. But I feel ready to take on the challenge, and I'm excited about it.
What has your preparation been like this week?
Preparation hasn't been much different than normal. Obviously I'm always heavily involved in the game plan and leading that drive to put that together. But now it's just going to be me calling it on game day. So basically everything I'm doing all the way up until the game day is pretty much the same as what I always do. Just now my game day experience.
Will you be down on the field or still in the press box?
I'm going to go down to the field. Yeah.
Okay. Just kind of, obviously you'll reveal your starting quarterback on Saturday, but just kind of evaluate the guys in the competition and just kind of what have you seen from them and
I think we've had a really good competition in the quarterback room. Feel very comfortable with the guys that we have. They've done a good job of competing, of really coming together and helping one another become better, but also pushing each other on the field. So I feel good about our group of guys. They had a great competition in camp, and I look forward to seeing them out on the field and letting it fly.
Just can you talk just a little bit about Iowa's defense and what the challenges they're going to present to you? And over the course of the last 3 years, you guys have been able to hit some home run balls against them.
Iowa's defense is always very good, very stout, very well coached, very sound. You're not really going to catch them off guard with many things. So, you really got to scheme it up. And they don't leave a ton of opportunities for big plays. We've been fortunate to hit a few the last few contests, and those have really been what helped us win those first two matchups we had with them, getting quite a few big plays down the field in the passing game. But we got to be able to sustain drives. They're going to try to make you continue to drive the football, try to eliminate the big play, but we also need to get a couple of those as well and find ways to get them.
Overall, how do you feel about the offense going into this first game? It's a different kind of first game, but just kind of how do you feel about where things stand right now offensively?
You know what? I'm feeling pretty good. I think guys have come out, they've worked hard. I think our O-line has really worked hard and prepared, and I feel a lot better about where we are up front than where we were a year ago. Obviously, the receiver group is strong, added a lot of new talent. Those guys can make plays and really look forward to seeing some of the new ones in live action. And then our running back room got the same guys back, and they've had some good off seasons. So, I feel good about where we're at. I'm excited about getting on the field and letting these guys play in real action. They've been waiting a long time to do it, so it'll be fun to get out there.
Just one more from me. I mean, along with play calling, you have the head coach responsibilities on Saturday. How, just any idea? I mean, just from an emotional standpoint, just dealing with all that kind of stuff. Do you feel like you're prepared to do something like this? How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I feel prepared. Football has been in my life since I can remember. So I've seen a lot of situations and seen a lot of games play out. Played in a lot of games, been on the sideline a lot of games, watched a lot of games. So, be a little bit more going over situations in my head about what to do when. Always have done that and kind of been in Jeff's ear and tried to help him with that during the game. But now it's it's going to be my call, which is different where when he's calling it, I just give him a suggestion and let him make a decision. Now I got to make the decision and move forward. So it'll be fun to be able to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Tom Dienhart.
Hey, Brian, who's going to be your eyes in the sky, so to speak, since you're not in the press box?
Yeah, we're still kind of working through that. We haven't determined exactly who we're going to move up there yet, but that's something we're going to talk about here shortly to make sure that we got the correct number of eyes in the sky and guys that can help relay information.
And did you guys develop a script? Like, do you script the first 10, 20 plays and just sort of go from there to see how that unfolds?
Yeah, we normally script around the first 10 plays. We'll come in and develop that as a staff and get input even from the quarterbacks to figure out which plays we'd like to start the game. But everything will be laid out situation-wise like we do every game. But then it's just a matter of going out there, calling it, and being able to adjust. I think that's the big thing, being able to adjust that game plan and script for what is actually occurring as the game goes on. That's going to be key.
And again, Brian, you cannot have any communication with Jeff during the game.
That's correct, I believe.
Not even at halftime.
As far as I know, I do not know the exact rule on that yet, but I would say that's probably true.
Are you nervous?
You know what? I'm not real nervous. I think once the game gets closer, it'll probably feel more like, I would guess feel like more like you're playing in the game, where you will get those little butterflies before you go out there, having such an integral part in the game, as opposed. Not to say that I didn't get butterflies as being in the booth as the coordinator, not calling it, but definitely there'll be a few more butterflies when you're making the calls on the field and it's such an integral part of what's going to happen.
Hey, how do you think Jeff will cope with not being there? You think he'll kind of stir crazy, just pacing around his house? How do you think he'll deal with it?
Yeah. I think he probably already is going crazy. I think he'll be pacing. He'll be having ideas and hopefully he'll get out of there with the win so that he can, be complimentary after the game. But I'm sure he'll be very involved and emotionally involved during the game.
Have you talked to your dad much about this, about dipping into this new role?
Yeah. I've talked to my dad, and he's excited. He's excited for me to have this opportunity. He's not excited for the circumstance that it came under, but he's excited to see me go out there and see me call a game. He's always good with advice leading up to it, so I'm sure he'll have some more good advice as the game approaches.
Thank you, Brian.
Great. Thanks, Tom. Dakota.
Hey, Brian. Just what's the communication been like with Jeff this week? What is he, what kind of tips, tricks has he given you just through, an acting head coach during a game week?
Well, he's still fulfilling the role of head coach during the week. So he's on the Zoom calls. They even had an iPad out there at practice today, and he was piped in with a speaker. So he talked to the team after practice today. So he's still fulfilling those head coaching roles. He's still involved in the game plan, still involved in the practice structure. It'll just be on game day when he has to hand it over, and I got to take over for him.
What's your coaching style going to be like, do you think? Are you going to kind of take over your own thoughts, or are you going to model what Jeff really wants you to do?
I'm obviously going to take into account his thoughts and what he wants, but it's going to have to, the plays I call, the decisions I make, those are going to have to be coming from me and what's in my gut and what I feel in that situation. So I'm going to have to rely on my football experience to help me make those calls. But obviously leading up to the week, get his input, and his input will be definitely heavily considered in all those decisions. But when it's game time, I'm going to have to put that head coach hat on and make those decisions.
When's the last time that you think you'll talk to Jeff? 5 minutes before the game, an hour before the game? What will that look like?
I haven't thought about that. It'll be right before the game, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll have some last words of advice or thoughts to help with. So I'm sure it'll be pretty close to game time.
Cool. Thanks, Brian.
All right, thanks, Dakota and Hannah.
So what can fans expect out of this game this weekend?
You know what? I think it's going to be an exciting game. Every time we've played Iowa the last 3 years, it's been hard fought. It's been good football, and it's been close games. So I'm expecting a hard fought game that's going to go down to the end.
And then just to clarify off something you said earlier, you said you can have no communication with Jeff during the game?
I'm not exactly sure of the rule, to be honest.
Okay.
That's what Tom had said. I would imagine he's probably right, but I don't know exactly the rule right now.
All right. That's it for me. Thanks.
Okay. Did we get everybody?